Here is a scene of Susan Sarandon in her Academy Award-winning role as Sister Helen Prejean in the movie Dead Man Walking with Sean Penn, who was nominated for an Oscar for his work in the film.
I killed him. Oh, man.
Did you rape her?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you take responsibility for both their deaths?
Yes, ma'am.
Today, Susan Sarandon and Sister Helen Prejean are once again teaming up to bring attention to another death penalty case, the case of Richard Glossip, who was sentenced to die on September 16th for the murder of his boss, hotel owner Barry Van Trees. Joining us now is Susan Sarandon. Susan, how did Sister Prejean get you involved in this case?
It was easy. She just called me and told me that there was an innocent man and that he had exhausted all of his trials, as people who are on death row have, even before they're exonerated. And when I heard the details of the case, it seemed like the only way to possibly stop the execution and get a stay, so that all this information that jurors were not privy to because he had bad representation, the only way to get another trial or to get someone to look at this would be to get a stay of execution. And the only way to get a stay of execution was to have some kind of public outcry, because, you know, it was just a done deal. And so MoveOn.org started a petition when they saw the information, and there's been over 150,000 people signing on. And as more and more of the facts come out, there's been more letters written, more calls to the governor, because the governor has an opportunity now to be a hero and to say, okay, you know, we've waited 17 years. This guy's been on death row for 17 years. Let's look at this information that wasn't shown to the jurors, that hasn't been known before, and let's look and see if this guy is guilty, because I really think that he's innocent. There's absolutely no DNA, no physical evidence linking him to the crime. The man who actually committed the crime at 19 years old, Mr. Sneed, didn't even mention Richard for the first 4 times he was under interrogation. He gave 8 statements. All of them contradict each other. There's a videotape which shows him being interrogated, during which time there suggests that he implicates someone else, and that's when the story changes after about 4 times of him giving a statement. And they suggest that he changed his statement so that he gets life, which he did, in exchange for handing over Richard Glossip. So none of this was shown to any of the jurors during any of the 2 trials that he had. None of the contradictions were shown. There's no physical evidence or motive. And he's always said he was innocent, to the point where he wouldn't, you know, make any kind of a deal, which is, of course, the mistake that people make when they're innocent. They think that the truth will free them, which is true if you have good representation. But if you don't, then people never hear the truth.
And in the article that you wrote about this for MSNBC.com, you take us through the 2 trials. There were 2 trials with 2 different lawyers, and in both of these trials, the kinds of evidence that you're talking about now did not come out. We know about it now through the assistance of this new law firm, which is clearly a very capable team representing him now, unearthing evidence that had not been part of the case. And what's always amazing to me about this is when governors say, oh, well, this case has been tried, it's been appealed, the whole thing is locked down, and all you're asking for is more time to look at this, and somehow the governor in Oklahoma is resisting that.
Well, and I apologize to the governor, because I said she was a horrible person, and I don't know her, and that was really wrong of me to say that. But in a matter of life and death, I feel very passionately about this, and it's clear that it would be a miscarriage of justice, and that it is a horrible thing to not at least give a little bit more time to examine these things. I don't think the people of Oklahoma would want to make a mistake, nor do I think that the governor would want to make another innocent man die. The argument that he's already been through some trials, you know, every single person, over 150 people that have been exonerated, all went through some kind of due process, but badly, or you know, there was corruption, or there was misinformation, or there wasn't, the first trial was just completely thrown out because it was so ridiculous. And then in the second one, got a little bit better representation, but nobody really investigated. And of course, if you don't have money, then that reflects the amount of help that you're going to get also. And so now these lawyers are working pro bono. They've found a lot of contradictions in all of the testimonies that the murderer made. And we're hoping that Richard, you know, will get a chance to prove his innocence once again with better representation. And this is what's problem, you know, with the death penalty, is that it's so capricious and arbitrary. The fact that the murderer would be getting life and he's going to be executed in less than a month, I mean, surely this seems wrong to people. I mean, you have to examine this and say something's wrong with the way we apply the death penalty, even if you're for the death penalty for religious reasons or whatever. We don't do it very well. And this state executed 2 men recently, and they used a kind of mom and pop pharmacy because Europe won't sell us the drugs anymore. Because of the death penalty, they realized that they were being used to murder people. And so they went to a bogus source or somebody that didn't do it very well, and he knows the 2 guys before him died awake and screaming that there was acid in their veins because the drugs weren't working properly. So even that got botched. So this poor man is waiting for his turn to use these bad drugs to be put down as you would a dog.
Susan Sarandon, thank you very much for bringing this case to our attention, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Well, if people want more information or want to sign on to the petition, again, it's moveon.org, Richard Glossip.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Susan, very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.